From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, October 29th, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.86 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,274 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 2 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $5,705. Antiwar.com reports Catalonia's declaration of independence on Friday looks to be an uphill battle for them, with no one in the region endorsing the effort, and both NATO and the European Union saying they consider what Spain decides to do a purely internal matter. NATO says they consider the breakaway republic a domestic issue, while the EU insists they will only deal with Spain's government and has no intention of changing their policy to accommodate the Catalans. That level of indifference is a better result for Catalonia, however, than the U.S. State Department's position, as they announced that they are totally opposed to Catalan independence and support anything Spain does to keep the kingdom strong and united. Most of the nations in Europe are concerned that a successful Catalonia secession would lead to more secession around the continent. There are dozens of active secession movements across Europe, which could grow substantially if Catalonia proves it is possible to do so. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports about 300 white nationalists and neo-Nazis held back-to-back rallies in two small Tennessee cities on Saturday to protest refugee resettlement into the state, which sued the federal government over the issue earlier this year. The White Lives Matter rallies in Shelbyville and Murfreesboro, organized by some of the same groups involved in a Virginia march that turned violent in August, drew an equal number of counter-demonstrators and a heavy police presence. The protesters started in Shelbyville, then traveled about 35 miles north to Murfreesboro for a second rally. Both towns are near Nashville, which is the center of a metropolitan area that has become home to refugees from Somalia, Iraq, and elsewhere. Brad Griffin, who has written about his desire to create a white ethno-state, said, "We don't want the federal government to keep dumping all these refugees into Middle Tennessee." Saturday's rallies were organized by the National Front Coalition, which embraces groups considered neo-Nazi or neo-Confederate by the Southern Poverty Law Center. To help keep the peace, Shelbyville police used temporary fencing to separate the white nationalists from counter-demonstrators. Anyone seeking to enter the area was searched. Guns, backpacks, sticks, and other items that might double as weapons were banned. The white nationalist demonstrators gathered behind half a dozen white shields emblazoned with red crosses. Counter-protesters carried signs with slogans including "Don't Hate" and "Veterans for Peace." Two lines of police, some in riot gear, stood between the two sides, who shouted at one another. Local media said one man was arrested for disorderly conduct, but there were no injuries. Later in Murfreesboro, where protesters were prohibited from carrying shields or wearing masks or helmets, the rally remained peaceful, according to the city via Twitter. Local officials and faith leaders had denounced the gatherings, fearing they could inflame racial, ethnic, and religious animosity in the state. Over the last 15 years, about 18,000 refugees have been settled in Tennessee, which accounts for less than 1% of the state's population. The state of Tennessee filed a lawsuit against the federal government in March, saying it had been unduly forced to pay for refugee resettlement. It was the first state to bring such a case on the basis of the 10th Amendment, which limits U.S. government powers to those provided by the Constitution. Other states have filed similar suits on different legal grounds. Abraham Hooper, a spokesman for the Council on American Islamic Relations, said when these protesters say refugees, what they really mean is Muslims. Hooper noted that a Murfreesboro mosque has been a source of controversy and vandalism for years, and said Tennessee is one of the states that has seen a rise in anti-Muslim bigotry in recent years, particularly since the election of President Donald Trump. President Trump has sought to ban travel from 6 Muslim-majority countries since he took office, and during the 2016 presidential campaign called for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.